Bible said, I need to take my time and walk through this, is that when she prayed, you know, a lot of times, and people have taught us faith the wrong way. Faith, according to what I understand, is responding to what God reveals. If God reveals, if he speaks a word to you, if a word is spoken over your life, in spite of the opposition, you can name and claim and stand on that spoken word. Now, this woman did the right thing. She was barren. There was no medicine, no operation, no artificial insemination. She was barren. She could not have a baby. This caused her grief. It made her miserable. The conditions that she lived in. You see, sometimes if you feel like you're blessed, you can deal with the opposition around you. If you feel like I got it going on, you can get over it, Penina, because I got it going on. But if you feel that you don't have it going on and you're struggling, everything gets on your nerves. Everything looks like they're pointing to you, talking about you. They may not be studying you, but you become intimidated, and you understand. When you have a word from God, that's the word you stand on. But you have a lot of people who are, listen to me, they are experiencing hysterical pregnancies. Let me explain what that is. I was watching a documentary one time. I've never had a child. I've never been pregnant. So I can only tell you what I've learned from documentaries. And the documentary said that you can want to be pregnant so bad that you will begin to take on the symptoms of pregnancy. You have a lot of people frustrated in church because they want something so bad. They think they hear God saying something. You become so frustrated because you believe, I want a Cadillac so bad, I want a Cadillac so bad, that when you go to bed, you hear a voice say, I'm going to give you a Cadillac. And you wake up in the morning and you know good and well, I got this welfare check here, no money in the bank, no job. Now, it's not like God can't give you a Cadillac, but sometimes you want things so bad that you think it's God. You'll be surprised how many people I deal with on the road who absolutely think they have ministries. I wish I could put it in the heads of women and men. Everybody that gets saved, every woman is not a missionary. Every man is not a preacher. Every preacher is not a pastor. And if you desire it so bad that you begin to think that God spoke to you and you go, a young man, I never forget this, and it didn't help me when I first started on the road 32 years ago. He thought God spoke to him and told him to go on the field. And when he went, he lost his house. He lost his family. He was shut up in a hotel someplace, embarrassed to come out because he told everybody that God told him to quit his job and go on the field. It's experiencing an hysterical pregnancy. You have to know the will of God. Now watch me. You cannot know the will of God except you go in and be intimate with him. He impregnates you. Stay with me. We talked about this being the season of grace and God letting us walk into our prophetic destinies and what he has said for us. But you must know what he's saying. There's some things, oh, glory to God. Watch this. The Bible said you have to ask, seek, and knock. Those are 3 methods of prayer, right? When you ask, you have to ask God what his will is. You cannot go to the Bible and see, thou shalt move to Florida. It is not in there. Am I right? So you have to ask. And if you don't get an answer, then you have to seek. You have to pursue God with fasting and praying. But if God speaks to you and said, yes, it is my will for you to go to Florida, then any hindrance that comes against you in Florida, then you got to knock and bang and kick and do whatever you need to do to kick down the doors that's trying to keep you from getting to Florida once you hear the will of God. Did that make sense to you? You just don't wake up in the morning with an idea. I want to do this and I want to be that. Because if you mess it up, it's not God's fault, it's your fault. I've heard women say, why would God let me marry this man? Did you ask him before you married him? Did you seek him before you married him? Come on, y'all. You left Florida where you had a beautiful home, went to California, living in the street. Did you ask God before you packed up and left everything? You've got to go to God and seek God. This is what this woman did. She got off her self-pity, feeling sorry for herself, realized that God was a miracle worker, that there was nothing too hard for him, and she was going to seek him. She was going to seek him. And when she got on her face, watch this, the Bible said when she went in, she couldn't eat, she could not respond, but when she came out, she was able to eat. Why? Because she had a word from the Lord. That's all you need is a word from the Lord. You can jump over mountains and fly through troops. If you've got a word from the Lord, you can weather any storm. If you've got a word from the Lord, you need to get on your face and seek God till you get an answer. And then when you get the answer, don't get up pouting and acting like you did before you went into prayer. Get up rejoicing. I don't see it, but God said it's going to happen. I don't understand when, I don't know how, I don't know where, but if God said it, every devil got to get out of the way, because in due season, God's going to bring it to pass. In due season, God is going to make it happen. Look at somebody and tell them God's going to make it happen. And when God does it, no man can reverse it. No man can change it. No man can turn it around. When God does it, you got to wait on the divine turnaround. It may not be your season, but if you got a word from the Lord, don't sit around and pout until it happens. Get ready for it. If God said you're going to be pregnant, go look at the baby carriages. Go get the room. Get it all set up. If God said it, touch somebody and say, get ready, get ready, get ready. I don't want to walk around with an hysterical pregnancy. I don't have time to start and start. I need to know the will of God for my life. And if you seek him, he will give